Hey there, welcome back to Simply Speaking. This is Brandon DeVere. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and sharing your time with me. I do appreciate that. Today, we have an incredible guest. Very excited for Lisa Harris. Lisa, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So let's get into it. You've been in real estate since 2001?
2001.
Correct? 2001. You know what? That's the last time the Mariners won the AL West, and they just did it last night. That's been 2.5 decades of pure pain for me.
Wow.
So
I'm sorry
I just want to take that moment to shout out for that. but so 24 years in the business. What, are you originally from Las Vegas?
Nope. I am originally from California.
Okay.
I was born and raised. I was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
Moved to Las Vegas, and where I was still a stay-at-home mom. And I didn't know a soul when I moved here. So in my fun time, I went and looked at model homes and drug my poor 2 little kids with me that were screaming and crying like, no more models. But that's what I did. That's what we did for fun here. And got to know housing and builders and all the things. And then in July of 2001, I became divorced. I was a single mom. Did not know how I was going to put food on the table, but real estate looked kind of cool. Yeah. So I was actually in the market myself looking for a home, and I had friends who were in the industry, but it was like every time I called them and asked them to show me a home, they were busy. Or I can't do it now, but can we do it on Saturday? And I was like, I'm just going to call the next agent off the sign. And I happened to call her, and she was looking for a TC, and I wrote an offer on a house. I became a TC. I got licensed, and the rest is history.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's a pretty cool story to kind of get into it. It is funny, previously James and I were kind of talking about how most agents fall into real estate. Did you have, like you said, it seemed cool to begin with, but were you like pursuing it, or was it just kind of?
Not at all.
Okay.
Fell in my lap. I had no idea, but once I got my feet wet, it was so fun. It was great. I loved, I think it was a great idea to do TC work prior to, so that I could learn the documents, learn the lingo, go to office meetings, and I really think that gave me a shoe in.
Okay.
But when I was ready to hit the ground running on my own, it was just a high. It was fun. It was just fun.
Was there, so in those 24 years, has there been like a defining moment where you're like, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm not? Because a lot of agents, they'll go from, rarely do you see an agent that just quits everything and just goes all in real estate. It's usually like you have another job. You might be, that's how I started, right? I was working hospitality. I was a server at the Four Seasons, and it was very difficult though, right? Because I was working from 4 to midnight. And, when you get off at midnight, you go to bed at 4 in the morning. So it was basically from 3, leaving my house at 3 and then getting home and getting to bed at like 4. It was tough to do real estate stuff in the morning. But when people typically transition, they have the little bit of a runway and kind of a buffer, kind of a safety net, if you will. Did you have that at all? Or
I did not.
You did not?
I had no safety net. So I was all in. If I was going in, I was going all in. The defining moment was a kind of similar story to what you have. Mm-hmm. I had a son, two children, elementary age, and I wanted to be there when they got home from school. I wanted to take them to school. My son was in Little League and 2 traveling teams. So we were going a lot, and I just wanted to make sure I was always there for my kids. Yeah. And real estate allowed me that luxury.
Awesome. So, we've been discussing kind of the competition here in Vegas. Like, what does that inspire you? Like, since there are so many other agents, does that inspire you? Because I know it can be a deterrent because we can all go and talk to 30 friends that we have, and they all know like 10 agents each. Mm-hmm. Like, does that provide any type of obviously it doesn't scare you. You're not worried that there's other agents, but does that give you extra motivation to perform or help people out?
Absolutely. I think that's a statistic, a NAR statistic, mm-hmm. that every American knows at least 10 real estate agents. Yeah. So yeah, I want to be the one that you call when the time is right.
So what do you think that you do that has people that do want to call back and give you the referral, or say that
people first? Yeah. If somebody wants information, I give it. I don't gatekeep. Anybody who knows me knows if I know it, I'm sharing it with you. Mm-hmm. I'm not I just believe that whatever you put out there comes back to you. So I am all about giving with expecting nothing in return.
Yeah, but I can confirm that too. I know a number of agents that have reached out to her and reached out to you, and after not even being at the same brokerage, and you're still willing to help them, which
Absolutely.
is in this space is very admirable, because there's a lot of gatekeeping that happens
Yes.
in this industry, and it's not, if you're not with me, then you're against me, and
Right.
you can't have this information.
Nope, there's no such thing here.
So one thing I want to talk about is, obviously we're going to talk about simpliHŌM and all the things simpliHŌM, but you are our area manager. I'm very excited for that. I really enjoy, we talk on the phone almost daily. You're boots on the ground trying to find office space for us.
I am.
That we're so we're very excited, very grateful for that. But you've been very involved in the growth of simpliHŌM. You actually are the main reason that we're here in Nevada, and we're there's different challenges to open different states, and you were very quick to be like, hey, this is how it's done here in Nevada. And if it weren't for you, I don't know that we would have been able to get open, or at least as quickly. So, what excited you about the area manager position to come over and to join simpliHŌM?
That Sean, our CEO, he just kind of gave me the reins. He knew that I knew Vegas. He knew that I knew what was going on, and he said, just do it. And I've always wanted that opportunity, and I've done it with a couple of other brokerages, but had restraints and restrictions. Not saying that Sean hasn't, put a few little restrictions on me, but for the most part, he trusts me and has just given me the reins to do it the way that I know, or at least I think should be done.
Yeah.
That is beneficial for all of us.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So outside of that role, the area manager role, what drew you? Because you and James were co-team leaders. You manage a really large team. You both are natural leaders to begin with. But, we had been talking for probably over 6 months before actually finally connecting at the same brokerage. And no, even longer than that. Probably a year. Yeah, a year. I'm just thinking about when you came to me with that question, or the dilemma, and I was like, oh, okay. And that was about 6 months different. So,
right.
But what was it about simpliHŌM that you were like, this is it, or even that you were just like, how about this? We'll do this. What drew you initially, and then what was like, okay, the deciding factor? This is where I need to be.
So I was very enticed by the Revshare. I've never, out of all of my years, and really Revshare is a newer thing, right? Mm-hmm. So that always hasn't been an option for me. I was very interested in the Revshare component of it because I have a lot of friends that do property management, and they say, you're like, why? That's so tough to do. That takes a special person to do property management, right? And they're like, well, it's really good filler money in a bad market or in a downtime, or in the off season. And so I kind of looked at Revshare like that. I was like, wow, if we could create something or be part of something that could still have money in a down season or, whatever. Yeah. So that really enticed me. And then once I met with Sean, Sean was, it doesn't matter, Sean's amazing, and I think Sean could sell ice to Eskimos, but I was sold. Once I talked to Sean, he's great. It doesn't matter if you're young, if you're old, Sean relates to everybody, and he's just an all-around outgoing guy, and just his people first philosophy was huge, because I've worked for brokerages before where the broker sits, or the manager sits behind a door with a big, beautiful, fancy office, and you never see them, you don't know what they do, and you're like, what are you doing? I don't ever see you. You're not helping the people. So I love that he's always available to me, and I want to be able to do the same for our agents.
Yeah. Well, you can see that culture is naturally running through, going down throughout the company, because you started off by saying people first, right? And that's one of our core values is people first always, and it's true. As you see that happening above you, it's very difficult for us to believe that if we aren't seeing it happen. Right. It's one thing to say it, and then it's other to actually see it happen. So that's pretty exciting to see that, embody that and know that. So you've been here since January. Mm-hmm. So we're going on almost 10 months. getting into month 10. What has been your experience so far? What were the expectations, and what have you seen that have been things that met expectations or even exceeded?
So I kind of had no idea what I was walking into. I kind of had I had an idea, but I wasn't sure how it was all going to go.
Yeah.
And I figured that it would be a lot harder for me, and it's been seamless. Corporate they are a well-oiled machine. Sean has designed it so that it is just seamless. And I mean, there's even times where I'm sitting around like waiting for my next task, and they're like, "Oh, we already did that on the back end." And I was like, "Wait, what? Okay, great. Like, this is awesome. I didn't have to do a thing," because I'm used to having to do that in my role at prior companies as the area manager. It's a lot of work, and corporate makes it super seamless. It's like I feel just like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
So it's definitely exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, I talk about Sean being a pilot. Even in my interview with him, I talked about it where I don't like simpliHŌM because he's a pilot, but I like simpliHŌM because he's a pilot. Not because our founder and CEO can fly a plane. That's not it. But it's the attention to detail that he has to focus on while he's flying. Like, he just flew himself and his family up to the Northwest, where he's going in to try and get somebody that we've been talking to bring him on over. But it's not just like, you can't cut corners doing that. And so you see throughout the process and everything else, the systems and checklists that he's put together. When we were bringing on that team recently, I was over at their office, and they were going one by one, submitting their application to join. And within 3 to 5 minutes, they're getting a phone call. Then the next agent would walk in and they go, "Oh, get ready. You're going to get a phone call in like 3 to 5 minutes." And boom, right there. And they're like, "Oh, wow." Like, they couldn't believe that onboarding was so seamless and quick to get everything going. They had been used to like put in a ticket, and then maybe you'll hear something in the next 48 hours or 72 hours. And in some cases, like, it's going to be next week. So that definitely goes back into like what you're saying as far as like the corporate and how everything it's being a well-oiled machine, and that's very important. Like, the last thing you want to do is have somebody join and have a bad onboarding experience.
Exactly.
Right now we're definitely dealing with a lot of people that are having bad offboarding experiences in order to come over to us, which they're taking the maximum of 10 or more days in some cases. People not releasing their licenses and stuff like that. So when they're coming off of that negative offboarding experience, we have to be on it and get that onboarding experience that needs to be on. And we're very lucky to have a leader that understands that.
Absolutely. Every agent brings something to the table for us, and I want them to know that they are important. They're just not a number. I want them to know that every single agent that onboards with us is important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a top-down thing where people are actually caring for people and caring about what their agents are doing. So I'm glad that you embody that as well, especially locally here, because a lot of times in cloud brokerages, you get the challenge of being on an island and not having anybody there that you can talk to. And now that we're going to upgrade, we've already outgrown our office, so we're looking for a new one, and that hybrid model is kind of what I believe is going to be massive. Especially, Sean will tell us all the time, like, we've never been more connected and disconnected at the same time.
True.
And so he's trying to bridge that gap. And I think a lot of people, he says mainly on the West Coast, that a lot of people are wanting to get back to the office. I mean, we're seeing that, like, we do hear, people asking for leads, but also they want to get back to the office.
I want to get back to the office.
Right? Yeah, and things that do happen in the office are not always like structured. It's a one-off where you bump into somebody and then all of a sudden now you're like, my favorite part about the virtual model, the cloud-based model, is the ability to collaborate beyond state lines, right? Beyond those geographical limitations. But also there's that to be said for on the local side where you're getting that connection and getting things like that. Or were you worried at all about going? Because you'd been strictly in brick-and-mortar, and were you worried? If so, what was the biggest concern going to a mainly virtual model?
I wasn't worried, but it was definitely, I felt like a fish out of water because I was out of my element. I didn't know what to expect because I've never worked like this before, but I am pleasantly surprised. Yeah. It's been amazing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
So as an area leader, what is or area manager, what are you hoping to see simpliHŌM become over the next 6 to 12 months?
We are growing, and I want us to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And I want everybody to experience this. Mm-hmm. I want everybody to know that there is something different out there from what they're used to.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And the camaraderie that we have, and the ability to make the money that we're making, and the potential that we have, and the leaders that we have put in place. Like, mm-hmm. I really, really just want us to grow and be a force to be reckoned with here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of my excitement as well. Like, we have leaders that are not necessarily in leadership roles, but are acting as such. And I think that makes a strong foundation for what people are trying to do. Like, we have, James and Crystal, both team leaders. You have yourself and myself, and we all kind of have like different superpowers that we can help. Like, I tell all the agents all the time, like, hey, if you want contract questions,
right,
reach out to Lisa or your team leader. Not that I don't want to answer them, but there's a good chance you're going to ask me something. I'm going to have to be like, hey, Lisa, can you give me a heads up on this? But if you want to talk about simpliHŌM or strategies and things like that, you can come to me. You want to do podcasting or things like that, reach out to me. We can figure that stuff out. And, James and I were talking in a previous episode about, finding one or two good things that you're good at and that you like to do, and kind of hammering down on those. And when you have leaders that have different skill sets, it's much easier to be able to find that, instead of just getting with one and going, well, they say I need to do this, but I hate everything about it and I'm not any good at it.
Right.
So I think that's pretty good. I mean, the leadership, how have you been with overall leadership as far as from the corporate side, as far as, as opening a state, getting questions answered, running into hiccups, because we're new, right? So you're going to run into hiccups.
Sure.
And you're, more than anybody on how to open the state and things like that. How responsive, and I know you said Sean kind of let you have the reins and everything, but as far as when things would pop up, like,
they're so easy. I pick up the phone. I'm learning who to call.
Yeah.
I was calling the wrong people in the beginning,
yeah.
but now I know.
Yeah.
But they're great. And it's usually, if it's a situation, it's usually resolved that day.
Yeah.
Super easy. So even though I've heard that Vegas was the most difficult one to open, and I believe it, because it's a wild, wild west out here. So I get it. We don't do things like normal or other states. It's not as seamless. But also our broker, Michelle Ridge, she was my broker in a previous life, mm-hmm. and she's an amazing person too. So I think that a lot of the credit needs to go to her, because she stepped in, she thought out her license, got it off ice, and she was like, Johnny on the spot, what can I do? So she's an amazing resource for us too. She's a wealth of info, especially when it comes to real estate law. Mm-hmm. She's a broker, I believe, in 7 states, or has her license in 7 states. So she is a very, very well-versed person to have on our side. Yeah.
Well, and she's on it too. Like, when we need things signed, it's not waiting for 2 days.
No.
It's none of that.
No.
She's been on it. Yeah, she's been great. Definitely, you're right. Definitely, she needs a lot of the credit as well for doing that. But even just like some of the hyper local level, like the leadership, and then also to have Michelle on your side. If for any unfortunate incident that you should need some
Hopefully
help.
You don't need her.
Yeah, you don't need her in that way. But I've heard some amazing stories about her going to bat for her agents and really being really good at it.
She's very good at it.
Good. So have you heard any success story within simpliHŌM that's maybe not your own, but maybe another agent? Maybe it's with the healthcare or something, or.
So we do have an agent. It's an agent on James's team. Mm-hmm. She came with us from our previous brokerage, and knew nothing about Revshare. But she called me, and she was like, Lisa, I'm in my back office. Like, I've got some money back in this back office. Where did this come from? And just watching her be excited and see that this actually works. Like, Revshare is actually a real thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like $5. She was actually making a nice little chunk of change. Yeah. It was awesome to see her and see her reaction. And I want everybody to see that because it's a completely different component. So that's been a good thing. As far as the other benefits go, I know a few agents have driven and saw themselves on the billboard, which is awesome because, that usually costs a pretty penny. Yep. That's not something that most agents would be able to afford. So that's exciting. Yeah.
No, that's very cool, especially to see yourself up there. And then that, the going into the back office and seeing money and being like, what is this? Like that's what gets me most excited, is because a lot of people, there's a myth out there that only like top producers and like coaches and team leaders have access to this. Sure. And they kind of paint the picture of, if you're not making X amount, then it's not worth it. But like for $500, like I always say this, like I get excited about, getting a new yacht. That doesn't move the needle for me, but hearing about a single parent like getting braces for their kid because they get the monthly payment, like that's huge for me. And ironically, on Monday, I have an appointment where my 12-year-old son is probably going to have to be getting braces for a little bit. So that won't be just
it's not cheap.
Yeah. So that's very exciting to hear that, how excited she was. Normally, agents are going, why did they take more money from me? Right. Instead of like, why are they giving me more money?
Where did this money come from? And is it really mine? Yes, it's yours.
What do you have any advice for any agents, especially like locally here? Because we do have a pretty good offer right now for agents that are joining. We are doing $0 a month, which is not available in all markets. And honestly, I don't know how long it'll be available here. Sure. I get asked that all the time. Well, how long is it going to go? I don't know. I'm not going to try and say, limited time offer. It's going to be gone in a week, and then it's still there after you join. And so I'm not trying to like pull the rug out from under anybody. But anybody who maybe they're on the fence or thinking about moving brokerages, like what would your advice to be to someone right now? Because we're kind of moving into that season where agents are kind of starting to look in other
we're in
areas.
Business planning season right now, and so. The $99 no monthly fee is obviously very exciting because, see $99 a month come out of your account every month if you're not, busy or have a lot of deals going on. It's a huge deal for somebody. One of the things that you and I talk about, especially with agents that we're onboarding that have had a disastrous offboarding with their previous company, I think that when you go and interview an area manager or a broker, the questions that you need to ask is, what is your offboarding process like? Because not that I think that anybody is going to come over here and offboard, because when they join us, they're going to stay with us forever. Right. But in the event that you would think that we were not a fit for you, you come to me and you tell me that this is just not working for me or it's not a fit, I would absolutely give you your license and wish you well. I would never want to keep somebody out of business. I've never done that with my previous brokerages. So I think a huge question is, what happens in the event that I get in trouble? Who's going to protect me? You have Michelle Ridge. She's amazing. She can spin circles around people and spew real estate law like it's, her second nature. And then, what's the offboarding process like? Because will you keep me out of business? Because unfortunately, I'm seeing a lot of agents literally being 2 weeks they can't even get into the MLS because their brokers have shut them off. So, those are some big questions to ask, and I welcome it because I can tell you right out of the gate who will take care of you. And even if you are leaving us, which I would hope you never will, but even if you are leaving, I will never put you out of business. Yeah, no, those are actually great.
I don't think I've ever had anybody say those questions before, as far as like, it's usually like, what leads am I getting, or like what splits? But no, you're right. Those are two massive things. And then what is one lesson that you've learned throughout, just not simpliHŌM related, just real estate in general, for that any like seasoned or even new agent could benefit from?
I would say, use us. We're here. That's what we're here for. Again, we don't gatekeep. So if you're looking for a niche, if you're looking to find your way, we will sit down with you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. A lot of people are terrified to knock on the door of their broker or area manager or sales manager and ask for help. Ask us, because that's what we're here for. We will sit down with you. We'll help you figure out what your niche should be. I think James and I, when in our previous life teaching these agents, between the two of us, and our strong points are completely different, but we complement each other so well. Come to us. We'll help you.
Yeah.
We don't gatekeep anything. So if you have a problem or you're trying to find your way, like, reach out to us. That's what we're here for. We're not here to just onboard you and offboard you, and, you know, we're here to help you grow your business.
Yeah, amazing. If anyone were interested in, you know, talking to you about simpliHŌM, you know, talking straight to the source, the area manager, which is going to be able to answer a ton of questions for you. If anybody were thinking about joining simpliHŌM, how can they get in contact with you?
Call me, text me. My cell number, 702-523-3336. Call me, text me, email me. We'll meet wherever. I can come to you, and we'll sit and chat and figure out a plan.
Awesome. Lisa, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you,
as
Brandon.
always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.